Consider the ancient funeral traditions of the Aztecs in order to understand what the people of ancient times resorted to in order to preserve the memory of the deceased for their descendants. We do not need to conduct a number of complex rituals and sacrifices, and enough to keep the digital information and memory of the man for many centuries. Subscribe and follow us, then you too can leave a mark on the millennium. Here in America and in most of Canada, we have funeral traditions that have stood the test of time for decades, even centuries. But our traditions are vastly different from those in other countries and cultures. This video looks at ancient Aztec funeral traditions and is part of a series that highlights how different cultures care for their dead. Other parts of the series are about ancient Jewish funeral traditions and Nepal funeral traditions, among others. Ancient Aztec human sacrifices. The ancient Aztec religious beliefs influenced their death rituals. They believed in making human sacrifices to the gods to nourish them and keep the cosmic balance. By providing human sacrifices, the gods made sure the sun and rain continued to nourish the earth. The reasoning behind this goes back to the belief that several gods sacrificed themselves to nourish the weak god who created the sun. Historians believe the Aztecs sacrificed thousands of people per year. The sacrifices were anyone from Aztec Empire members to sometimes even children. When upper-class members died, they buried alive their wives and slaves with them to serve them in the afterlife. Ancient Aztec death beliefs. The way you died is what decided where you ended up in the afterlife. They believed there were several afterlife locations, 13 heavens and the underworld. The ancient Aztec praised those who died a heroic or tragic death over those who died naturally. If you died a violent death or from disease, you went to one of the paradises. However, if you simply died of old age, you went to the underworld. Warriors who died in battle were heroes and went to one of the paradises or joined the war god in battle. They thought a warrior's death honored the sun god and helped them find paradise using the sun's rays. They also treated women who died in childbirth as heroes, and they went to a paradise. Children who died went to a garden paradise. Burial and cremation practices. Your social status and occupation influenced your funeral arrangement method. They cremated merchants, while they buried the lower class members under the floors of their home, so they were close to their family. When the king died, they sacrificed a red dog to bury with the king. This way, the dog could carry the king on his back through the streams of the underworld. They also buried items with the deceased to help them in their afterlife journey. Basic Aztec facts. Aztec burials. The Aztecs believed in 13 heavens and 9 underworlds where you ended up depended more on how you died than on how you lived. Most took a 4-year trip down to Mictlan, the end of the line. On the journey there were 9 dangerous stops. Assuming you died a natural death, as an average Aztec you were buried often under your own home, along with your possessions and everything you needed for the journey. Food, drink, clothes, valuables, tools, weapons, and a gift for the lord or lady of the underworld who would receive you. First, your eyes were closed, a vase of water was poured on your head, you were going back to the watery womb of the earth, you were dressed to match your job and status, an age-aid stone placed under your tongue travel money. Then pieces of a metal fig tree bark paper were laid on you, each a ticket to help you get through the 9 stations coming. En route you had to face these 9 underworld challenges. The mountain pass. The road guarded by a dangerous serpent. The giant crocodile swamp. Wide deserts. A series of very high hills. A razor-sharp wind. A rapid-flowing river. A storm of flying arrows. Heart attack territory. Your physical burial didn't take place for 80 days, plenty of time for family to assemble and mourn your death, bringing in professional mourners to help. In the first 4 days after your death, small effigy statues, busts or models, would be made to look like you, a focus for family tears. They'd then be burnt in a special ceremony at night. If you came from a rich noble family, you were buried with noble gifts such as jaguar skins, beautiful feathers and fine jewelry, your effigies that much more elaborately dressed, and the speeches given in your honor that much longer and more special. The higher up in society, the more likely you were to be cremated, alongside the tools of your trade and other offerings. Once burnt, your ashes would be collected in a pottery vase, which also held the green chalchihutl, that would be your soul's heart on the coming journey. The vase would be buried in a deep hole at your home, covered with food and drink offerings.